Did you know that many pros have been secretly using controllers made by a man in a shed? It's true. I bet 40 grand some of you did know that, but most of you didn't, because it's a wild man in Norway and he's built the world's fastest controller, not with the help of a billion-dollar corporation, but from the comfort of his own igloo. As its creator Marius Heier would describe it, no soldering required, no sound, no rumble motors, no gyro, just 100% speed. Marius has made many a crazy thing, including but not limited to various iterations of Hall effect sticks, a USB-C conversion for DualShock 4, and many US government, Norwegian government black projects. My board came with his custom Hall effect sticks, which use high-end sensors from robotics. He said a Chinese humanoid robot had to... Oh my god. The MH4 we're looking at today is a PC exclusive, but there will be future batches made for the current PlayStation and Xbox controllers, not the consoles. Console players get fucked once again, I guess. We'll be diving into the world's fastest controller today with testing, teardowns, and some other things. So like if you like it, sub if you love it, let's do a thing really quick. The PCB used for this board was handcrafted in software by Marius, but it was manufactured using the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. They specialize in PCB manufacturing, and as you can see, you could do some pretty cool things with the service. They were featured on the channel previously for the DualShock 4 USB-C conversion Marius made, which also had a baller design, just like the MH4, all thanks to, well, Marius's imagination and PCBWay's manufacturing expertise. So if you'd like to slap together your own controller, graphics card, because those are getting expensive, or other wacky device, you can hit the link in the description and check out PCBWay. A big thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. So how do you make a controller as fast as a keyboard? Reduction. The controllers of today have connections that are littered with a million parameters for a bunch of bullshit you don't necessarily need. Their social media feed is full of slop, just like yours. Rumble motors, headphone jacks, gyro aim, adaptive triggers, wireless connections, all of these require computation. But if you treat the controller like a race car and just throw all of that shit out, the load on the device is much lighter, allowing it to be much faster. When you do that, you get this, a modified DualShock 4 PCB molded in darkness. It didn't see an 8K polling rate until it was already a man. And the best part is, it's something that you could do yourself at home. One day Marius would like to make some of his projects open source. Cannot wait to see what crazy shit people come up with then. But times are beginning to change. Companies have started making their own super speedster wacky devices. The current king of speed that you can buy from like Amazon is the G7 Pro 8K with a response time of under a millisecond for the sticks. However, believe it or not, according to P82, the buttons on the Marius board have a very similar response time. It also features an 8K polling rate, but he had a few things to say about that. My controller is definitely faster than the G7. The testing device is wrong.
All right, let's everybody just calm the fuck down.
Despite Marius's confidence in the inaccuracy of P82, its testing, if true, made this the fastest controller in the world up until the G7 Pro 8K, or at least one of them. And that's just P82 testing. If we go over to XLAT, a tester used by the YouTuber Optimus Prime, it provided even better results, with the sticks supposedly hitting 1 millisecond and the buttons doing even better. So while testing was contested, a bit convoluted, we can all at the very least agree the bitch is quick. Despite this being one of the very first prototypes of the MH4 device, it also came equipped with Marius's Super Soldier Serum Hall effect thumbsticks. There has been a drop of stickless boards in the past, and again, there will be future drops. It just takes forever to handcraft a controller like it's Minecraft. Other batches feature different custom thumbsticks or hardware for 6 additional buttons. These sticks feature 50 grams of resistance according to the force gauge, the same as an Xbox Series X controller. They feel very crisp with larger movements, but smaller movements are a bit of a struggle for me. That said, this model of DualShock 4 was not exactly ideal. It has been previously modified for another project and is not in the best condition. Pros have won tournaments with the Marius board with these thumbsticks as well, so it's probably more so an issue of everything I have to build is complete jank. Also, while many of you may be interested in things like resolution or tremor, Marius had a couple of things to say about that too, because I recently made a video on anti-stick drift thumbsticks and I covered these topics. But according to him, I got a couple of things wrong. The tremor I measured in my video was sensor noise, not firmware smoothing or software smoothing. A higher tremor is going to be a noisier signal, while a lower a lower tremor is going to be a clearer signal path. Tremor has nothing to do with aim assist, disregard my joke about that. He also noted that a high tremor could inflate resolution, and some companies might even be pushing their tremor to inflate their resolution. because scumbaggery. Since a higher tremor or noisier sensor can look higher resolution, the thing we are looking for is effective resolution, which is the usable steps after subtracting all of the noise, and according to him, no one measures this yet. Finally, he also said resolution and bit depth are not two separate things, they are one and the same. Bit depth dictates the maximum resolution, and the resolution is how many positions you actually get. And if he is correct about all of this, that means stick testing has like years of progress to make, which does make sense. People have only gotten into this on a larger scale in the last few years, but what the fuck do I need a degree for, man? Linus made all of this look so easy. It was supposed to be a simple review, simple aesthetics. I fucked something up. So if you want it, what do you do if you want it? What do you do if you want to introduce players to the light and give Marius your money? Battle Beaver, Demon Workshop, and Nagashot Gaming all sell these boards pre-installed into custom controllers for very interesting prices. But if you would like to buy one directly from Marius, which you can do for much less, you will have to keep up with him on Twitter for updates, as these things do come in batches. And when you do want to buy one from Marius, a board with his custom Hall Effect sticks will run you 120 bucks. That's the board I have here. A board without these thumbsticks is going to run you $90, and this also does not include shipping, which could get very expensive depending on the global bullshit that I have tried my best to stay the fuck away from, but it's finally made it here. Shipping prices are a bit high. Plus, if you're gonna get one yourself, you have to use a DualShock 4, you have to get a DualShock 4, and you have to molest it by ripping out its innards and replacing it with this glorious black and gold board. Obviously, if you buy from the other companies mentioned, you don't need to do an install, and you can get extra pro features added on top. Overall, I will say gaming on the Marioler has been a bit of a dream. And comparing it price-wise to other devices, especially for getting the fastest controller in the world, it actually looks palatable. At least when you're buying the board directly from Marius. But as someone who is not a pro player, while I do feel a difference, I am not able to feel the most dramatic of difference. So the question remains. Now it's time for a discussion I want to have that I hope Marius will not be upset at me for. Does all of this speed really matter? Well, yes, for some people it absolutely does. Pro players could gain a thing or two from having a controller that's fractions of a second faster than their opponent, and it has proven itself in tournaments, so it's viable. But for most people, and by most people I mean like 99% of people, this is not going, you're not going to notice a difference. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have its place. And the accomplishment of it. Dude made his own fucking DualShock. DualShock. How about Triple Shock?
What the fuck?
This is much bigger than just the world's fastest controller. It's a step in the direction of a world with more options. Options that could be made at home and beat the competition. Take Razer, for example. You pay $220 for the Ryzen V3 Pro, and in return, you get the slowest piece of shit with a PlayStation logo on it. Now, on Marius' store, which I'm not even sure if I can show because I don't think he wants people showing the store, he says, "Trust me, bro," which is kind of how a lot of the controller world works. At the end of the day, I can only take his word and the word of the professionals who stand behind him, because I'm about 15 years of experience away from being able to build anything like this. And most claims from companies about their controllers go completely unchecked, but with Marius, we watched for centuries as he built the thumbsticks and the board on Patreon and Discord. You can keep up with him there and more so on Twitter, as we did. You know, him saying something about his device can do this, while other companies say our device can do that. You've seen him make the controller. So if you'd like one, there will be links to all of the online retail stores mentioned before, as well as Marius' Twitter, where you can keep up with future batches of drops for the boards themselves, just the boards, and his social medias will be down there too. I really do hope that I covered this device well for you guys. This is, again, something completely out of my league, and sincerely hope Marius doesn't take offense to me calling his workshop a shed or an igloo. It's just to emphasize the importance and the craziness of we don't need to buy a controller from Walmart. I've built one at home. If you would like to ask me questions about this controller or any of the other devices I've been covering on the channel recently or plan to cover in the coming days and weeks, I plan to fire up live streaming again. Yeah, I'm fucking terrified. That will be the last Saturday of this month. Next month, I'll be launching a Patreon. If you'd like to keep up with me on other social medias, I have a Discord, I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter. I would like to thank Marius for sending out the MH4 once again. This has been one of the most interesting projects I've done so far, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys in my big project, which I'll be doing next, featuring 9, 10, maybe 12, something about like that many controllers. I don't exactly know yet. Still working on the ins and outs of it, but yeah. I hope to see you guys there. Fuck UMG for claiming my outro again. Peace out.